Hey, good morning, Chavra. Today's Tanya Shir is dedicated to the memory of Pinchas Triestman, Pinchas Ben Yehuda, a dear friend whose second yahrzeit is today, and his neshama should have an aliyah. Okay. Today we're on page 54 as we begin Epistle 17. Epistle is a long-form letter, spiritual in nature, broader in the sense of a letter to the masses versus a personal one. The mitzvah of tzedakah creates a more expansive keli, a vessel, for the light of Hashem to reside, even superseding the revelation of godliness to neshamas, to the souls in Gan Eden. Well, you doubt that? You doubt that? It's crazy, right? Unbelievable. Okay, so don't forget to give tzedakah, big mitzvah, and you get major revelation, light of Hashem. Okay. Noida, the Besurus de Lasata, Shahada Ma'oidet. It's well known that in response to our efforts from us, when a man arouses in his heart kindness and compassion for those in need, for giving tzedakah to help those in need, so there's a reciprocal arousal from above. Hashem responds in kind and has great compassion upon the person who is also compassionate, who's giving compassionate, who's doing kindness. He gives him the fruits of his deeds, the reward, meaning the reward in this world, while the principle remains intact for the world to come. So Steve, he's also getting his char in Olam Haba, but he's seeing his reward here in this world as well. The Alter Rebbe goes on to explain that the fruits of this world refers not only to physical blessings, but also to the insights and spiritual delights of Gan Eden, literally the Garden of Eden. For even Gan Eden is termed this world in relation to the world to come, which will be by Tchias HaMesim, as pointed out here. We're on page 55, if I forgot to mention. This means that the fruits refer to the flow of benevolence, which is bestowed by the source of compassion, by Hashem.
On traffic.
Whoever's not on mute, please, if you don't mind. Just
so much for your time.
Okay. And it comes out and it's issued. What is this? This fruit, this downward flow of baracha, benevolence, which Hashem gives us, is issued. The issue is forth following the pattern of evolution of the worlds from above, downward, and so on. Until it comes all the way down to this physical world in the form of children, life, and livelihood, and the like. Blessings of children, life, and livelihood, and the like. All these gifts, both spiritual and material, are called fruits. For just as fruits are not the essence of the tree, they're merely an offshoot and are replaced, so too does this flow undergo a transformation from world to world. We continue to get new blessings and new brachas from Hashem. The principle relates to the pasuk. Your commandment, mitzvahscha, is very wide. Rechava mitzvahscha me'oid. It should have said your commandments plural. Mitzvahscha, your mitzvahs, singular. This would be the case with the pasuk saying simply that the commandment, in general, the commandments are without end. The term wide is also puzzling. So what does this mean? It would have made more sense if it would have said great, immense, or lofty. Specifically uses the word your commandment. We're referring to here the mitzvah of tzedakah, she mitzvahs Hashem mamish, which is truly a godly mitzvah, a mitzvah that Hashem himself performs. So if you give to others, you're acting godly, just like Hashem gives to each and every one of us. It's just like God Himself performs at all times, animates the world, gives the blessing to every single thing in creation. And in the future, it will be even more. It's the pasuk says, and you shall observe the path of Hashem to do tzedakah, meaning tzedakah here is described as God's path. Metaphorically speaking, like a road on which one travels from one to the next. And so too, tzedakah is a manifestation, radiation of the light of Hashem, which encompasses all the worlds. That will radiate in future even more so through our efforts. The time of Tchias HaMesim. And when will this come about and how? The response of our efforts by giving tzedakah and being kind without question and going over above, and as Alter Rebbe said yesterday. If we have one piece of bread, we share it. We go and borrow so that we can give others. With the magnitude and force infinitely exceeding the state in which the radiation is manifest in the lower and higher levels of Gan Eden. The proof for this is this. For the souls of all the tzaddikim and the Tanoim who preceded them and all the prophets who predated the Tanoim, that they're now in the highest level of Gan Eden, at the peak of all levels. So if that was the ultimate up there, then why would they come back down here? They'll be vested back into bodies when we have Tchias HaMesim to derive pleasure from the splendor of the Shekhinah. They want to receive the light of the Shekhinah in this world, Dafka. So it's clear that this revelation will transcend by far the degree of revelation, even in the highest worlds, even by the greatest of our sages of the past. This revelation is purely an act of tzedakah, of the greatest kindness of Hashem's part. For man's arousal from below is in no way intense enough to draw down. So we think it's our efforts. It's only because Hashem is so kind that He reciprocates that effort is why He gives us this light, the revelation of the light. But do we deserve it because we give tzedakah? No, but at least that's a cause. That's the impetus for Hashem to shower us with these tremendous blessings and revelations. The Alter Rebbe will now go on to explain what exactly it is about. What about this revelation attaining in the higher worlds, in the world to come, that makes the revelation attainable even in the higher Gan Eden pale in comparison to what we will receive, and even now to a certain extent. The manifestation and radiation in Gan Eden are of the levels of Memala Kolam, and the light of which permeates all the worlds. If they're going to permeate the world, they have to be muted, contracted, concealed, and tempered down. Otherwise, the world wouldn't exist. They're diminished from one level to the next by means of intense contractions, immense contractions. As taught by our sages of blessed memory, that the world to come, which here means Gan Eden, was created by the letter Yud, the letter limited and contracted by a single point. It's the smallest of letters. It's not like the Vav that draws down, the Hey that's expansive and with all the open areas in the Hey. But the Yud is just one little point. This signifies the level of supernal Chachma, the first of the 10 spheres of the world of Atzilus. Hanikra Eden Ha'elyon. This refers to the higher Gan Eden that surpasses the level of Gan Eden, in as much as Gan Eden implies only a garden derived from Eden and not Eden itself. Hamishtal Sheles Umislabeshes B'chol Oilames, which evolves and becomes vested in all the worlds. So it comes through the Chachma of Atzilus and is vested in all the worlds. The Chachma descends and goes into all the worlds in order to continuously create and animate them. The The pasuk says in Tehillim 104 that you've made them all with chachma, meaning all created things derive from the sphera of chachma. Chachma techayev v'cholu, and also the pasuk that says in Ecclesiastes 7:12, meaning all created beings derive from the sphere of chachma. You have made them. And chachma animates, again indicating the sphere of chachma animates all the worlds. In Gan Eden, it is manifestly comprehensible to each according to his measure, according to the spiritual level of the soul that's hanging out in that particular garden. On that particular level, that's the revelation that they are able to receive. All the life force that emanates from chachma is concealed from all the worlds and is manifest in Gan Eden, so that the souls there. It is manifesting Gan Eden so that the souls are able to apprehend the essence of divinity, again, each on their own level. K'neida, she'oineg hanshamas began Eden hu mehasagas soides ha'toira sha'asak ba'olam hazeh b'nigla. This is a heavy one. The delights of the souls in Gan Eden derive from their apprehension of the secrets of the Torah, in whose revealed dimensions they were engaged in this world. So that was the secret in this world, which is revealed in Gan Eden. So whatever they were able to achieve through learning the Torah, secrets of the Torah in this world, that's the level, the corresponding level that they receive in the Gan Eden up there. Which is enumerated in the Holy Kabbalah. So the Zohar speaks about the various heavenly academies, such as Moshe's Academy, the Heavenly Academy, Yeshiva Shalmaila, right? And so too an academy in which Miriam teaches the righteous women. And in the Gemara, with reference to the incident involving Rabba bar Nachmoni. The Gemara describes a legal debate between God and the Heavenly Academy regarding ritual purity in a situation where it is doubtful whether the Baheres preceded the appearance of a white hair or whether the white hair preceded the Baheres. In it, it was agreed that Rabbi Nachmani would render the decisive opinion because of his singular knowledge in the field of Nigoyim and Ahalos. In the Likutei Torah, Parshas Tazria, the Alter Rebbe, so that's like the Mitzayra, the leper, to see if they have the blemish, whether the white hair appeared before or after. So there's all machlekes there, and in the Likutei Torah, the Alter Rebbe explains that this specific dispute, as well as the concept of the Heavenly Academy in general, was going on between Hashem and Rabbi bar Nachmani. There's all yeshivas there; they're still arguing the halacha. At any rate, the revelation attainable in Gan Eden is that of Memala Kalamin, in which only a limited degree of light filters through. So there's Memala Kalamin with light which permeates, and then there's Soviv Kalamin, which we'll discuss in a moment. But the permeating light, which is of course powerful, we want it, bring it on. But it has to be contracted in order for it to come to us, because if not, we wouldn't exist. Like by Har Sinai, we couldn't handle it. And the whole world would not be able to handle it. It wouldn't exist. The light would be too powerful. And that's the light of the light that will come at the time of the resurrection of the dead. By Tchias HaMesim will become manifest through the level of Seviv Kalam. And the light that's too powerful to come into the world. That's the surrounding light. It's incredibly, look up at the sun. It's so powerful. It's 92 million miles away. But it's still so that's what's going to be. That's the light. Which is not in a state of contraction, measure, and limit, but it's limitless and endless. This light is going to be the light that's going to shine. We've already touched on this earlier in Tanya in chapter 48. It is not to be understood literally as resembling a sphere. We can't think that the Seviv Kalaman is like this big ball that goes around the earth. It's not. We're just using it as an example, that because we can't come up with any other words. So the superior order of light does not encompass all this world spatially. It doesn't take up time and space. so that surrounds the creation. Rather, Ella, it has no investing, meaning it cannot come into anything because of its tremendous infinite power. Note there carefully. So what's the whole point of this? That when we give tzedakah, we are eliciting a light of Hashem that's even higher than the upper worlds and the upper academies, which all the greatest souls are hanging out. And we're bringing that down into our lives. Yes, we're not going to receive that now. It's going to be mostly manifest when, after Mashiach comes, there's going to be Lasa Lava, is going to be a Tris Amesim. But can you imagine at this level of tzedakah, and it's only because of Hashem's kindness. Clearly, we can't put $1 in the pushka and expect all these things to start, clicking. But Hashem says, no, I'm going to make it happen. You do your part, and I'll respond in unbelievably immeasurable ways. So Erev Rosh Hashanah and during Slichas and every single day, really, a Yid has to be kind on Shabbos. When we don't give, we give double before Shabbos, and we look to do acts of kindness that don't involve money, or we could pledge money, but we should all give from the bottom of our heart and from the inside our wallet and pockets, and we should give away more than we expected to give. Tzedakah is Hashem's commandment, an act that Hashem performs constantly. All we're doing is acting godly when we give tzedakah, so we can imitate Hashem by giving tzedakah open-handedly. All right, beautiful stuff. Have a wonderful day, Chevra. Thanks for joining on Zoom.